Alright guys, I'm making this video for a couple of YouTubers who had emailed me with problems with their Lickity split. Those of you who haven't watched my videos about this machine, it's a 1959 Lickity split MK348. Alright, I acquired this machine used, right? Did not need any work with the hydraulics at all. When I got it, the fellow I got it from thought it did, but it did not. Okay, and I bought it as is. The fellow told me it would not split the big wood, would hit it and just not move. So I took a gamble on it and I picked it up. All right, it's certainly probably has seen better days, but this machine has split my wood, as you can see over there. It has split my wood for 15 years now, at least, if not more, since I've had this machine. No pun intended, but I haven't had a lick of trouble with it, other than the springs inside the main beam snapping on me. It was actually not the springs, but the cable that snapped. I did a couple of videos on that. For those of you that haven't seen them, go back and look at them. Teach you how to change those springs. I actually haven't done a video since I did change those springs. So, but anyways, again, in response to the videos I got, the emails I have gotten, okay, those of you that all know me know that I'm no purist. Okay, I use my machines, I work them, I don't mess around. Alright, I don't take them to shows, I don't polish them, I don't do any of that nonsense. Okay, I got nothing against guys that do that, but if you're gonna you're gonna wear a suit, stay in the house. Okay, don't go outside and work with the big boys. That's my attitude. Alright, anybody can take a beautiful restored piece of equipment to a show and do a tiny little demonstration. Alright, with nice clean wood and everything else, all that kind of nonsense. Anyways, I don't mean to be abrupt, but that's my attitude. This machine has worked. I mean, worked. And so the flaws that it has are flaws that I'm aware of, flaws I deal with as I go along. Okay, and you learn as you use the machine of certain things. Right? You see, I got a rag here over the gas tank. Okay, reason for that is that when you fill the gas tank more than 3/4, the vibration of the machine occasionally causes it to spit. It'll spit a little bit. You got 4 inches between the gas cap and the spark. Not a good idea. So I was going to relocate the gas tank over here in the back, but I decided not to. It's the original gas tank, so I just put a rag over it just as a deflector, just in case it happens to spit a little bit, and I keep an eye on it constantly while I'm splitting. All right. One of the questions I had about it was about bleeding the system, all right, and the type of oil that's used. First off, you can see this particular model, okay, has a car type oil filter there, and believe it or not, I have never changed that oil filter. Okay, number one, I could not get it, but number two, I'm sure I could get it if I searched hard enough. I didn't want to take it out and have the whole system fill up with air. I'm a firm believer in the old adage, if it ain't broken, don't fix it. So I use straight dirty weight oil. That's what the original manual calls for. Hydraulic oil, I believe, would be much too thick and would cause problems, especially with that oil filter, and especially in cold weather. So that's one thing. All right, and again, as you can see, I've modified this machine as we went along, changed the carburetor, changed everything. The other problem with these machines is that the 2 carburetor screws in here, okay, they, even with Loctite on them, okay, because the heat of the motor eventually wears away the Loctite, those screws do come loose. You have to stay on top of those. I check them every time before I start the machine. I've had that carburetor almost fall off on me once. So anyways, so that's just a brief summary of my experience with this machine and how I've used it. You guys who watch my video know I work it like a dog, and it works me. Alright, now I want to do this video very close up of all the linkage. Alright, so bear with me here as I speak. I'm just panning the linkage that I have on this machine. Okay, so the fellas out there having problems can see what I'm talking about very slowly, okay, and know what I'm talking about. Now my gauge here is not hooked up at all. Alright, I believe it was originally hooked up over here. This is capped off, but it's not hooked up. It never was. When I bought it, it was like that. I left it alone. Okay, again, it ain't broken, don't fix it. Alright, and as I said, I got the machine, it wasn't splitting well. I tuned up the motor, cleaned the carburetor out, I actually changed the carburetor, and filled up the oil and bled it out. Got a little bit of air out of it, not a tremendous amount, but apparently it made a tremendous amount of difference, because since then it's been splitting wood. So that's the story. So I want to show you the difference between what happens when I move the lever to split the wood, exactly how all of these springs and valves move, so you can watch them and hopefully you can compare it to what your machine does and maybe solve your problems. Okay, because guys email me with problems and I just can't solve them over the over the internet without being hands-on seeing it. So I'm doing my best here to try to help you out. Alright, it's I should have started it up and warmed it up, but she should crank over. Let's see. Okay, she usually cranks that over with a choke. It is a little cold. Okay. Alright, I'm going to split a couple of pieces of wood here, decent sized pieces of ash. I'm going to show you what happens. First off, without splitting anything, move the lever, watch what happens. Nothing happens, okay? That's on top. On the bottom, watch that valve. That valve popping in and out. And up with the handle. I've never made an adjustment on that valve. I honestly do not know what the hell it does. I'm not a hydraulic specialist. I'm not an expert on this. Okay? So that's one part of it. Now I'm going to put a log on and show you how it looks when it's splitting. Bear with me here. I'm doing this one-handed. Wood is seasoned, you're walking right through it. Okay, watch that pop right there. That's it. A little pop on this spring here. Okay? Open this valve and that valve. And that's what makes the circulation of the oil. I use a screwdriver to shut my engine off at the spark plug. Alright? One time I put the screwdriver down here by accident. It stuck it in there. It stopped this from moving and it would not split wood. It took me like 20 minutes to figure it out. It was crazy. So make sure you got no obstructions over here at all. Alright? Again, with no wood, no movement. No movement at all. Piece of wood there. I'm trying to show you the whole thing here. Can't do it. to it, guys. This valve down here should move with no wood in there. When you move your handle, that should move. I'm moving the handle now. Okay? This is connected to an arm that goes into the tank, so I'm assuming that's an open and closed valve. Alright, it has an adjustment on it. Again, I've never messed with it. Valve here goes to the cylinder. Alright? No wood, no movement. If it hits the wood, it opens. Use a shut-off valve in every piece of equipment I own. Let the gas flow and flood out the carburetor. Alright guys, hopefully this will be helpful. Sorry the video's so long, but did my best to show you how those valves work. Again, if you didn't hear me, this one here moves when you move the handle with no wood. Pops in and out, and it's connected to an angle and a cable that goes somehow connected to the tank. So that must open and close the flow from the tank. I am guessing at this, okay? Up on top here, no wood, no movement. When it hits the wood, this pops open and closed like that. This valve here opens up, letting the flow into the piston. Okay, so check those things out. You got adjustments on here, you got adjustments on here. Okay. I know sometimes I sent a lot of guys the manuals. Anybody else needs them, contact me. I do have the manuals on PDF. I know the manuals sometimes can be as useless as tits on a bull. You need hands-on. You need hands-on experience and fiddling with this thing to figure out what's wrong. And 90% of the time, like it was with me when I bought this, the man told me it wasn't splitting. It turns out to be a simple problem hiding in clear view. Alright, and that's about it, guys. I don't know what else I can tell you. If you got to bleed the system, try to find a point of bleeding it, like this here, or somewhere that's not a big line, a small line where you can bleed it, and put a really big, strong piece of wood on there, like a piece of hickory, a lot of knots, and push the piston out, pushing up against it, a lot of pressure, crack that open and close. Same idea as you would bleeding brakes on a car. Okay? And that's the story. So I hope this is a little helpful to some guys out there. I don't know what else I can do to help you guys out, but anyways, as you can see, my Lickity is doing its job again. I got about 3 cords cut and split already, and we're working on another 3 or 4. So alright guys, good luck with your machines. Thanks for watching. Book 'em, Daniel.